Good morning, Patriots. How you doing today? This is Mike the Patriot coming to you live from the downtown metropolis of LaMonte, Missouri. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day wherever it is you are watching from. And I see you guys checking in from sea to shining sea, from coast to coast, and from parts unknown. Also, we got folks checking in from Canada. We've had people checking in from recently from Great Britain, before they started squashing me on Facebook all over the world. But, beggars can't be choosers, I gather. Speaking of being squashed, make sure you follow me on the other socials. This is why I say to do it, because, well, they don't care for us. I don't know if you've noticed. Whoops. Sorry, wrong button. Moving things around here. Wrong button. And thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. Checking in from Chicago over there on Rumble. Thank you very much. All right. And make sure you can follow me on the other socials. You can follow me at Patriot Mike Show on X, Twits, whatever it is. You can follow me on Truth at Patriot Mike Show. You can follow me on my on my fan page, Patriot Mike Show. Got a theme going on here. Just type in Patriot Mike Show on Facebook, pops right up. You can follow my personal page, Mike Cook. Follow me on my Telegram page. Make sure that you're following me on the Telegram page. If you want to know where the meme is, you want to know where the joke is, you want to know where the link is, you want to know where any of that is, it's on my Telegram page. You can follow me on Patriot Mike Cook on my Rumble channel, Patriot Mike Cook. Once you've created an account and subscribed, subscriptions are free. You can contribute in the comment section during the live show, and in the bottom of the comment section right next to the subscribe button is a little $sign. Basically gives you a priority if you pitch a few bucks into the tip jar, and I will make sure your comment, at least repeat your comment on the air. But those are the places where you can follow me. You can also follow me on YouTube. I don't know what the handle is. I don't have the link in the comment section. In the description section. All the links to all my social media, all the links to purchasing my t-shirts, to even the link for the product that I take every single day. It's absolutely changed my life. The BioCell is in the comment section, or if you or the description section, if you want to do that. I don't have the link to YouTube in the description section because I don't care. Although I'm streaming on YouTube right now. And there's a couple people. There's 3 people watching me on YouTube. There's 176 watching me on Rumble right now, and that number continues to grow as I speak. All right, let's get on with the show. Let's get this thing started. We're going to start off here real quick with the Fairy Gold Mother on TikTok.
This is your Fairy Gold Mother, and I want to show you the difference between real money and fake money. Let's start with a dollar bill. This was created to mimic this. Can you see how tiny it is? But today you can buy 3 cents. Well, guess how much this is? If you want to buy it today, it's $460. This is fake money that was created to mimic this. This is a $5 gold coin. And guess what? If you wanted to buy that today, it's $719. This is a $10 bill. It's actually legal tender. In other words, you can take this to the store and use it. It was created to mimic this. And today's retail price is $1,369. And how about this one? You can take this to the store. I'm not sure you can buy that much with it. And you certainly can't buy this $20 gold piece. If you were buying this one today, it'd be $2,694. This holds your purchasing power. This destroys your purchasing power. This is in your control. This is in their control. Which would you rather have?
If you don't hold it, you don't own it. DD over there on Rumble, thank you very much for that. Says that my latest Mike at Night was awesome. If you haven't seen that, it's posted everywhere. You can go find it, the latest Mike at Night. And it is a good show. I think you'll enjoy it. It's about the prophetic words that were leading up to what's happening in Israel today. And what's going on in Israel today is totally God doing. I know it sounds terrible. Somebody's calling me. Looks like spam. I don't need any spam. I don't know if Aaron's on yet, but we were talking about spam earlier. Anyways, moving on. This is the fairy gold mother. Now I noticed up there. She said that you can the premium. You can buy that gold coin. That's about an ounce of gold for $2,600 and was it $94, $84, whatever it was. As I look, gold is right now selling as paper for $1,963.10. So you're looking at approximately $700 in premium between the real and the paper. So that's just kind of giving you an idea where we are for real. So your $20 back in 1913 had the buying power of $2,600 or almost $2,700. Just think about that for a minute. Just process that in your mind for a minute. That's a lot of inflation. Anyways, moving on. Gold, silver is God's money. It's a bargain today, but not tomorrow. Well, that's true. When's the best time to buy gold and silver? Well, Carol, I don't know what site you're checking that says 1955, but I'm looking at it live on CNBC. A live ticker says 1963.5. So it changes on a regular basis. So if you got one that just gives you a spot price for the day, that may not be accurate because it changes by the second throughout the day, throughout the night. Gold stock market stops trading. The Dow Jones Industrial Average stops trading. What is it? 3:30, 3:33 o'clock Central Standard Time. The gold and silver and precious metals and other commodities continues to trade, never stops, because it's trading on other markets around the world too. So it never sits in one spot. That's part of it. And that's the paper price. That has no bearing on actual buying physical gold, physical silver. I mean, it has some idea where to start your negotiation process. Some idea where to start, but it's not anywhere near what the actual value is of it. Here is speaking of you don't hold it, you don't own it. Senator Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, sends a letter to the White House claiming crypto is a national security threat being used to fund terrorism. Oh my gosh. What is silver's value? Well, I mean, you mean paper silver, or you mean if you're trying to buy a coin? I don't know what eagles are selling for right now. I haven't looked in a while. But silver is trading right now at $22.98. But that, like I said, that will change by the minute or the second even. So Senator Elizabeth Warren, affectionately known as Pocahontas, wants to declare cryptos as a national security threat because anything that's not the dollar that they control is a threat to their national security. So, and I got that from the Bitcoin chat. Or there's a Telegram page that they love Bitcoin. They're pushers of Bitcoin. They're saying, yeah, crypto, not Bitcoin. Trust me, Bitcoin lovers, when Senator Warren's saying crypto, she means Bitcoin too. Here is another one. This is kind of interesting. Just in, interest rate futures showing rate cuts beginning July 2024 after retail sale data. I mean, Okay, so we'll get the furthermore, additional rate hike odds nearing 50% and being pushed well into 2024. So which is it? Going down, going up, going down, going up? I don't know. There's even a very small 0.3% chance of 3 more rate hikes. As time goes on, it's becoming even more apparent that inflation is stubborn. Higher interest rates are here to stay. Now, what is this? What are we talking about here? We're talking about futures, where people are betting that the interest rate's going to go up or the interest rate is going down in the future. And it's pushed all the way back that the interest rates are going to go down all the way back to July of next year. I'm afraid to tell you it probably ain't. They're stuck. They don't have anywhere to go. They don't have any choice. The inflation is the one thing Aaron's been talking about. Agbu snack bar all day long. Says that Agbu snack bar loves chili. We've decided, we discussed, me and Aaron this morning, we don't know where Agbu snack bar is, but it must be really popular because they yell it and scream it all over the Middle East. Just saying. Anyways, so the interest rates, the futures is just gambling. It's like any other commodity future. They're just gambling. They're gambling on whether or not they think it's going to go up or they think it's going to go down. I mean, seriously, it's about as much gambling as betting whether or not, literally, this was a bet. This was a bet that you could do on these betting apps, these sports betting apps. You could bet on whether or not Kelsey on the Kansas City Chiefs was going to kiss Taylor Swift during or after the game. Those were bets that you could make. I mean, if you want to throw away your money, because who gives a rip? But that's basically what this is. It's the same thing, just for more sophisticated people, not them dummies that bet on sports games and Taylor Swift. Gosh, I would never, ever do anything like that. How dare you? But anyways, I digress. I don't know how to count, evidently, because I'm missing number 4. Oh, okay. Okay, so the yuan, the Chinese Weian, however you say it, I don't know. I don't care. This is interesting. The yuan surpasses the euro to become the second main currency in trade for the first time. This is according to Swift. People might scoff at the percentage, which is pretty small because most people still trade in dollars. But they overlook the underlying trend unfolding. More and more and more countries looking into settle trades in local currencies or other currencies than the dollar because they're tired of getting screwed by the United States of America and its crappy dollar. Speaking of the United States of America and its crappy dollar, U.S. total debt is now, as of yesterday, it's probably gone up today, $33.649 trillion. $33.649 trillion, heading to $34 trillion, probably within the month. Down here it says U.S. total debt now at $33.649 trillion, up $58 billion in one day, and $604 billion in 1 month, up $20 billion every day this year, up $833 million every hour. That's the interest on the debt climbing. I did a little math. $58 billion a day with what's remaining left in this year is approximately $4.5 trillion. So we will add another $4.5 trillion if everything stays the same and we keep spending like we've been. The problem is again, those trends that number is increasing every single day. And it doesn't show any signs of slowing down. By the way, the continuing resolution only lasts till just before Thanksgiving. And then they'll have to do it all over again, or they're going to shut down the government. We're all going to die. In order to pass the continuing resolution, they'll have to fund everything. In order to fund everything, well, by golly gee, they've got to spin that money.
See, I thought you were going to.
What?
Because that's what they do. That's what they do. They spin the money. Here is, I'm not sure which channel this is. They cut out the, CNBC. I should have known. Here's CNBC.
See, I thought you were going to say it. I'll say it, 8%. The 30-year fix has jumped 20 basis points just this week as investors digest stronger than expected economic news. So now we have an 8 handle. Compare that to just 3% 2 years ago. What that means for a person buying a $400,000 home with 20% down is they are now paying about $1,000 more a month today than they would have just 2 years ago.
So there you have it. 100 up to 8%. Now, if you want to buy a mortgage, your average interest rate is 8%. This time last year, we bought a house. I think we got 5.9%. Looking better every day. I can't believe you signed up for that much. Marine in the Woods says that silver dollar starting at right now $30.43. That's probably for the junk ones. That's probably not for the best ones. Also, I forgot to mention that Marine in the Woods word of the day is Matthew 5:13 through 16. If you want to write that down, look it up later. Matthew 5:13 through 16. Forgot to mention that. I meant to, but I forgot to. You know, it's coming as the mostly transient inflation and the mostly peaceful collapse of our financial society that's been happening since this administration has taken over, has been coming at us pretty doggone quick the last few months. Kind of something like this. How many can relate? Just getting blasted. Go to the grocery store, it's like, holy cow. I actually pick stuff up and put it back. I mean, I don't know. I haven't priced shopped in a long time, since I was like totally broke in my younger years when I had little kids in the house. And you guys know what I'm talking about. We've all been there. But I was actually picking stuff up and going, no, I'm not buying that for that price. Not gonna do it. I actually thought about it and put it back. So that is, I mean, how many people are doing that? How many people are living that way? You just got to ask yourself how much what is going on? I mean, really, what is going on? Well, we know what's going on. They're printing money like there's no tomorrow. They're printing money like a drunken congressman. Well, I guess that's kind of what they are. Is that right, Nancy? I'm not drunk. I'm not alcoholic. I never go to those meetings. This is how. It's the medicine. It's the medicine. I put the medicine in the coffee. I drink the coffee. Yep. That's good coffee. Nancy Pelosi, ladies and gentlemen. Yay. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have went there. All right. Donald Trump says United Auto Workers have no choice. They are not being told the truth by their union heads. auto industry is DEAD, dead, if they don't vote for Trump. I will triple their jobs within 2 years, immediately authorizing choice of propulsion in all cars and trucks. Car choice, school choice. Under Biden administration, there will be no such thing as U.S. auto workers within 3 years. All cars and trucks will be made in China and other foreign lands. So that's where we're at. Just think about it for a minute. And it goes back to that Kim Clement prophecy, right in the middle of the spring into fall into fall, hypnotic November, strange July, all that stuff. Right in the middle of that prophecy, he says that the East wants to destroy the auto industry. And they're doing a darn good job of it right now. I'm just here to tell you. So that just something rings about that. I'm sure Donald Trump could do exactly what he says and turn this thing around in a minute. Really, 99.9% of the problem in our economy is, besides printing money like drunken congressmen, is belief. It's belief. It's faith in the system. Just imagine if we went back to pegging our dollar bills to gold. Just imagine where we would be. It says the ratio of NASDAQ to U.S. Treasuries return is currently at a record 8.2%, or 8.2 times. To put this in perspective, even at the peak of the 2021, that's the tech bubble that collapsed, if you don't remember, the largest tech bubble in history, this ratio was 4.8. In other words, NASDAQ to U.S. Treasuries return ratio is now 70% higher than it was in 2001. It's now also 5.5% higher than it was at the peak of the 2008, or 5.5 times at the peak of the 2008 financial crisis. There has never been a larger gap between the return of equities and U.S. Treasuries. Something needs to give. It's going to at some point, it's going to not turn out well. Everything has got to correct. Nothing can stay the way that it is. It can't. It cannot go on like this forever. Now, you go and you ask these people in Congress, these modern monetary theorists that believe that you could go on printing money forever, but it doesn't work. It never succeeds. How many ounces of silver should you have on hand? The same amount that you should have bullets on hand. And let me ask you a question. Has anybody ever in combat said, gee whiz, I had too many bullets? No, seriously, Nathan, you should have as much as you can afford. In my opinion. It is not an investment. And if you look at it as investment, go buy a house or something. It's not an investment. It's not to make money. You can actually buy silver bullets, Ronald. It's the purpose of it is to have something. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. Basically, a dollar bill right here is a promissory note. The one on the top is a promissory note that says that on that you can redeem this promissory note, the one on top, for $1 in silver, redeemable on demand. The one on the bottom is a promissory note that says basically you owe them. It's a debt. This one says somewhere there's an ounce of silver with your name on it. The top one says that. The bottom one says you're in debt $1. In both cases, you are not in control of the silver. Or in the bottom one's case, you're not in control of anything. There's a promise of silver, but there's no silver. And in 1964, all of your blue notes, that's what they call the top one with the little blue shield over there on the right-hand side, right-hand screen side, became basically Federal Reserve notes because you could no longer cash them in. So how much silver should you own? As much as you possibly can afford. And I recommend junk pre-1964 silver coinage, American coinage. Why? Why do I recommend that? I am not an expert. I am not an investor. I am not even educated. Do not take my opinion on anything. I'm just some moron on the internet. But what I do, I love buying dimes. Dimes are 90% silver, just like Morgan and Peace dollars are 90% silver. 10 dimes equals $1 worth of silver in face value. But let me tell you something. Morgans, even Peace dollars, especially Eagles, are faked in mass by China and others. But you know what's not faked? Dimes. You know why dimes aren't faked? Because they're not worth it. It costs more to produce it than you would make. Pre-1964 dimes, those are mercury dimes, so those are even before that, pre-50s. I think 50s when they switched over to Eisenhower's. Or even the Eisenhower, doesn't matter. They are silver. They're worth a couple of bucks in silver right now, give or take. So when you want to go buy yourself a Diet Dr. Pepper at Casey's and they're on sale for $2, one dime. So when the end of the world happens, then you need some currency and you've got a pound bar of silver. You could take a chisel and chip it off and weigh it out, or you could take a handful of dimes. It's easily divisible. It's another reason why I like dimes. But you do you, whatever it is. A unique ping. Yes, they do. They have a different sound when you drop them. Just go out and you can buy them. You can order them from any of the major name brand bullion sellers, like was it AMD? What's it called? AMDX or AMX? I don't remember the dyslexic guy can't remember the abbreviation. JD Bullion, Money Metals Exchange. There's a couple others out there. They're the big ones. They do this all the time. They have different ways you can pay with a check, you can pay with cash, you can pay with there's all kinds of different places you can go. Comex is another one. People are putting them in the comment section. These are the big guys. They're all reputable. They won't do you wrong. I would shop them all, because if, say, Money Metal Exchange, yes, silver. She says, Ginger says, I like silver half dollars. I got one right there. Has more dimes or half dollars or quarters, for example. Maybe they bought somebody's estate out and they got 100,000 dimes. They have them a little cheaper than, say, JD Bullion, because they're shorter supply of them. So make sure you shop around. And I personally do not buy anything with any kind of collector's value. I want the junk. I want like this one right here. Like this one right here. The collectors will say that one's wore out. It's heavily circulated. You can't tell even, I mean, it's almost faded completely away, but it's still. Aaron says Ogbu snack bar accepts gold, silver, and dynamite. Ogbu snack bar. Anyways. All right, back to you. Here is Jack Paseo talking about, well, how we're just destroying ourselves from within.
The BRIC Summit is going on right now. This is the Belt and Road Initiative. This is the rise of the multipolar world. Everyone is there except for Joe Biden and American powers. The rise of the BRICS nations is, at this point, a certainty. And Joe Biden's out there saying, oh, we can fight two wars at the same time.
For God's sake. The most powerful nation in the history, not in the world, in the history of the world. For God's sake.
That's exactly what the Roman Empire said right before the collapse. America is overextended. America is overstretched. And while America has been sending munitions and ammo and intelligence and focus to Ukraine, we are now embarking on a new proxy war in the Middle East.
It will be the end of Rome.
The end of Rome? How does an empire die? Does it collapse in one terrible moment? No. No. But there comes a time when its people no longer believe in it. Then does an empire begin to die.
You've got potentially 25,000 American troops right there in harm's way. 2 carrier battle groups, 2,000 troops on the ground, 25,000 in total. Remember, those aircraft carriers, sitting ducks, thanks to new technology, sitting ducks.
The other missile, the DF-21D, has been described as the world's first anti-ship ballistic missile or carrier killer.
You get one below the waterline on an aircraft carrier, you get a big one below the waterline, 5,000 sailors. 5,000 sailors each, not to mention 2 nuclear generators. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for the consequences of an American aircraft carrier lying at the bottom of the Mediterranean, lying at the bottom of the Black Sea, lying at the bottom of the Taiwan Strait? Because buckle up, folks. That is the scenario that Joe Biden is marching us straight towards.
We're the United States of America, for God's sake.
It is Mearsheimer's warning exactly what he told us would come if the United States continued this disastrous Blinken-Nuland policy. Hyper-escalation. Hyper-escalation will come, and now hyper-escalation is here.
Hyper-escalation of war. That's an interesting term. And that's where Joe Biden is. Breaking CNBC. September home sales dropped to the lowest level since the foreclosure crisis. I wonder why. 8% mortgages. Prices are still high because there's not much out there. This stuff about the cruisers is kind of interesting. I mean, about the missiles. About the ships in the Mediterranean. I didn't have this queued up. Let me see if I can find this video. Pretty sure I shared it. But Putin is now putting his aircraft on patrol. Let me see if I can find the video. I apologize about not having this queued up because I didn't think about it. I'm pretty sure I shared it. Maybe I didn't. Yep, right here. So here's Putin. You have to read the subtitles because, did you know that Putin speaks English, but he just doesn't? Let's think about that for a second. Let's just think about it. Benjamin Netanyahu makes a speech in English. Who's his audience? Hamas makes a speech in English. Who's their audience? Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky makes a speech in English. Who's the audience? Yet Putin can speak English. He chooses not to. Let's think about that for a minute. Just mull that around in your mind. What does that mean? I don't know that Trump speaks 7 languages, but his wife does. His wife speaks like 7 or 8 languages for sure. She's got several other languages that she's not fluent in, but that she can understand and tiptoe her way through. His wife is not only a retired supermodel, but she's also very, 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 very intelligent. Unlike, other presidents' wives or husband. Here's Putin.
Они взяли, затащили 2 авиационные группировки в Средиземное море. Хочу сказать, это не угроза, то, что я сейчас скажу, и о чем вас проинформирую.
What he said that they, meaning us, meaning the United States of America, just moved 2 aviation strike groups, meaning 2 aircraft carriers. And then he goes on to say, this is not a threat. I'm just informing you. I'm not threatening anybody. I'm not saying I'm going to do anything, but they just moved aircraft carriers, so we're responding. This is called a Cold War, ladies and gentlemen.
Проинформирую. Но по моему поручению
half of the Russian Air Forces and Russian Space Forces
начинают на
are stating on an ongoing basis patrols or starting patrols in the neutral zone
воздушного
of
пространства
the airspace in the Black Sea. Our planes, MiG-31s, armed with Kazala missiles, are known to have a range of
свыше 1000
over
километров.
1,000 kilometers at Mach 9 speed. Those missiles that he's going to be arming his MiG-31s as they patrol in the Black Sea right here can go 1,000 miles, are specifically designed to take out aircraft carriers. That's what they're designed to do. Or we'll just shoot them down. We have a lot of defensive systems for shooting them down. Do they have enough of them to overwhelm our defenses? The other thing is that these peer-to-peer missiles, the Chinese missiles, the Russian missiles, have technologies to prevent us from shooting them down, whatever they are. All kinds of different technologies. But the Russians and the Chinese have spent decades trying to overcome the superiority that the aircraft carrier fleet of the U.S. Navy has over the seas. And again, just like watching the Russians blow up American and Western equipment, tanks, armored personnel carriers, whatever, multi-million dollars, even billion-dollar tanks, blowing them to smithereens with a $2,000 Iranian drone made out of wood. If you could sink a multi-billion-dollar state-of-the-art aircraft carrier with a couple of million-dollar missiles, advantage you. I'm not saying they're going to. I'm not saying they can if they tried. I'm just saying they're thinking about it. And if you don't like that, well, gee whiz, golly, gee willikers, by golly, I'm sure they're all upset that you don't like it. We have the best military in the world, blah, 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 blah. Do you know that our main battle tank is almost as old as me? In 1985 is when the M1 Abrams came out. In 1985, the M1 Abrams was a quantum leap in battle tanks. A quantum leap. It could defeat not only any tank on the battlefield, but any company or battalion of tanks on the battlefield. But times have changed. The technologies that were in the M1 battle tank that made it the best in the world 40 years ago are now obsolete. And we spend more money than all our competitors combined on our military, yet we haven't done anything to upgrade our military. Think about that. Think about that. Think about them. You know, and now we're starting to go in. We're going to go into the Middle East, and we're going to go into Ukraine, and we're going to go in Taiwan, and we'll get to that in a minute. But first, this: did you know there's mostly peaceful protests going on in the Capitol yesterday? In the rotunda, mind you, the DOJ just appealed the charges to the Proud Boys, one of which wasn't even there, because their 20-year sentences for sedition, for trespassing, entering the Capitol without permission, is not enough. Yet, we have pro-Palestinian, mostly peaceful protests who were allowed in by sitting Democrat congressmen and senators protesting. And you have to ask yourself, wait a second here. How come they get to do it and no one gets in trouble? Yeah, a few people were arrested, but what will come of it? What will come of it? I don't know. Here's one of the leaders of the protest being arrested in the halls of Congress. Now, I'm just saying, I understand being arrested is not fun, but this dude is lacking testosterone. Watch him. Well, they should. Actually, I disagree with you, Paulette. They should allow them to protest in the Capitol. Absolutely. We should have protests in the Capitol every single day. Whose Capitol is it? Our Capitol. Whose house? Our house. We paid for it. It's our government. They work for us. The Constitution specifically says we have a right to redress our government. Period. Is this it? Is this the first or second here? Nope, that's the second. There's that one too. I don't have it. I don't think this is it. No, that's the contradiction one. Okay. I don't have it queued up. We have the right to protest our government. Period. However, if you're going to apply the law, it needs to be applied equally across everybody. So if the Congress passes the law, says you can't do it, then if you're sentencing people to prison for doing it for 30 years, then everybody should go to prison for 30 years. But here they are, mostly peaceful protests in the Capitol. By the way, the people dressed in Israeli garb down here are not Israelis. They're not Jews. They're mocking the Jews. Just pointing that out. They don't care if Hamas is There's the testosterone lacking boy getting arrested again. So Garf 069 says Putin is just doing a show of force. He will not do anything because he's working with Trump. Is he? Is he working with Trump? You have evidence of that, or someone told you? You have that much faith in the person that told you that? I think Trump and Putin's interests align because Trump wants to make America great again, and Trump wants Putin to make Russia great again, and Putin wants to make Russia great again. And see, if Putin's making Russia great and America's making America great, then we're all good. But is he working with Trump? Really? Who told you that? I'm just saying, we put so much faith in this crap, in this patriot mythology that we get told when we have absolutely zero evidence of it. It may be working together, but here's the deal. I don't know. I have zero evidence. Oh, I've seen the videos, all of them. But just because somebody puts it in a video doesn't make it so. Just because somebody makes a compelling argument doesn't make it so. You understand? I can't prove to you anything in the Bible. Sure, there's some archaeology stuff. Sure, there's some other stuff, the other writings that really smarter people than me could probably argue about. But personally, I can't. I take what the Bible says in faith. Are you doing the same with patriot mythology? I'm trying to be a critical thinker. Yeah, the ball's in your court. What was he referring to? Anything that you answer me with is pure speculation because nobody knows what he was talking about. It could mean exactly what the patriot mythology says, but I cannot prove it and have zero fence. It takes faith. Where do you put your faith? Well, my faith is in God first, period. End of statement. And if it all works out and Putin and Trump come together after Trump's back in and we arrest everybody and then they come out and they hold hands and they say, yep, we worked this whole thing out. This is how we did it. We had, top secret white hats working in the background on computers, hacking away, whatever. Fine. Great. I'd be wonderful. It'd be fantastic. I'll be in the streets cheering with you with my MAGA hat and my American flag and my AR-15. Maybe my tactical shotgun. I don't know. Who cares? But how do you know? That's all I'm saying. How do you know? You don't. You don't know. You believe. Nothing wrong with your beliefs. Nothing wrong with it. But you don't know. But it's a fact, is it? Here's some more going on the protesting. I can't remember what this congresswoman's name is. She is a conservative. I think she's a mega conservative. I can't remember what her name is. Somebody tell me what her name is. Here she is pointing out what's going on over there.
Contact here. I am in the Cannon House office building. There have been protests raging today, the pro-Palestinian groups, and they are not even hiding it anymore. Outside, they're chanting from the river to the sea, and then calling the Jewish people who are being arrested inside comrades. It is absolutely insane. Let me show you what's happening from my vantage point. Hold on. It's pretty much chaos right now. Yeah, they're with me. Yeah. So check this out. I find it very interesting that they have outside entirely blocked off. Thank you. Here, Adeline, let's go down this way. We're going this way. So, thank you. They're with me. So, thank you. So, absolutely crazy because what you're seeing in there, so outside they have protesters, and actually you can see them right now through the window. And then they have blocked off Independence Avenue, but they're outside right now chanting Free Palestine and From the River to the Sea, calling for the extermination of the Jewish people, and then complimenting how many Jewish people inside this building are being arrested. I think this is absolutely insane. They're saying the quiet part out loud. And all of this happening with the speaker's race happening in the backdrop. These are the scenes from our nation's capital. So stay tuned.
So got this going on over there. The conversation is still going on over there on Rumble about who is who. Let's see here. 6069 says Z is also working with Trump. Is he? I mean, he's also paying the Bidens $1.5 billion. So there is that. Are they working together? I don't know. See, Ad Hudson says, yeah, the compilation tour is hard to dismiss for me. The impressive visuals of Saudi Arabia dance and the Pope visit, that's all compelling, interesting stuff that makes me go, what is going on here? What is this all about? But that's as far as I can go. If I go any further into the Patriot mythology, it's on faith. That's all I'm saying to y'all. When you say these things as if they are a possibility. And that's the way I present it and that's the way I have been for a while now. Because I have no proof. I have zero proof. And neither does anybody else. That's the thing. If all this stuff is done secret in the background, it's secret in the background. Anybody that says they have insider information is a liar. Some of them, I'm convinced, make it up out of whole cloth just to get clicks and make millions of dollars to build big houses. And then those big guys that make it up out of whole cloth, the next tier guys, spread it around. And then and then when it gets down to me, well, this guy said it, I like him, and this guy said it, I like him, and this guy said it, I like him. It's got to be true. But in reality, I'm taking it at faith because I personally cannot prove it. Just like I personally can't prove the Bible. I take it at faith. So when it comes to this stuff, I stand back and I say, okay, that sounds great, but how do you know? I just want you to admit that you take it at faith. That's where I'm getting at. It's fine to believe those things, but how do you know? Just like somebody says that when the celebration comes, they'll be the one wearing the flat earth shirt. How do you know? Have you been up in space and looked down and seen the flat disc? I mean, I've traveled around the world. Around it. But then again, I don't know. It looks pretty flat where I'm standing here in LaMonte, Missouri, or sitting in this case, but I don't know. Either way, you have to take it on faith that NASA is right or the flat earthers are right, or a combination. Maybe it's in the middle somewhere. I don't know. That's my point. Believe what you want to believe. It doesn't matter to me. But if you bring it up on my show, I'll make sure you really believe what you believe. How do you know? How do you know? Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene. She posted this that the night before they was putting out the barricades again because they knew it was coming. Setting out them bicycle racks, she called them. It's kind of crazy how the imagery of what's going on in DC with these protests. It's kind of crazy how this is okay. This is praised by the media. Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene standing out the window, staring at the people in the crowd. It's bullhorn from saying something, but you can't hear it. And here's a little bit of comment. I'm not going to play this thing's 14 minutes long. I'm not going to play much of it. Here we go.
We have an insurrection happening in the Cannon building.
This is the march outside, the pro-Palestinian march going on outside.
And then we have this happening inside of our building. I'm going to take you guys down so you can see what's happening on the third floor. Literally, they've come in and taken over. This is insanity. This is where the press does all their hits. Of course, they know what they're doing. They always know what they're doing.
Okay. This is what part I wanted to get to. Stop for a second. Back up. Hold up. Wait a minute. They're down there chanting. The press is up here. This is the press. This is the media.
Of course they know what they're doing.
Watch. Right.
Always
Walks
know what they're
around. Watch this. This is the media. And look, that's media. That's the media clapping. The impartial media clapping. Somebody's asking about Q. I think Q was an information psyop. Now, psyops aren't necessarily bad. He says, I changed my mind. The one that said the flat earth shirt. I changed my mind. I'll be the one in the crowd with the Patriot Mike shirt. Thank you. Buy two. So the media, the impartial media, is chanting with the crowd. They're supporting it. Who organized this march? Rashid Tlaib organized this march. Oh, yeah. You betcha. Here's some more scenes. It's still playing. She's adding. There they are. Mind you, when we did this, it was an insurrection erection. But when they do this, it's mostly peaceful. And what do they want? They want peace. And when do they want it? As soon as they kill all the Israelis. Here they are as they storm the office building. And now this senator, this congressperson, whoever this is, anybody know who this guy is? I don't really care. Let me see. Does it tell me? Representative Weber from Texas. He is a deep state. I want to go to war. That's my opinion of him on faith, just from his own words. He is, I stand with Israel. We need to go to war. We need to pay for it. We need to give them money and ammunition, and we need to send our sons and daughters over there to die too. Now, I'm all for Israel defending themselves, but I'm sick and tired of being the policeman of the world. I'm all for Israel blowing their enemies off the planet. But why do we have to pay for it? I'm just saying. There's other ways to go about this. But here he is.
This is what happens when unrealistic, uneducated people who want to support the killing of innocent Israelis, innocent Jews, whether they're elderly, whether they're middle-aged, whether they're married or unmarried, whether they're children, male or female, whether they're babies. destroy public property because they don't have a clue what's going on in the Middle East. They want to blame Israel. I, for one, am not going to stop standing with Israel, and never will I give up on Israel, and the United States shouldn't either. These people should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
So they broke in and they tore out. Now, mind you, there's people sitting in prison right now for doing less on January 6th because they were insurrectionists, erectionists. They were bad, evil, terrible people. They were election deniers. Speaking of election deniers, Maxine Waters, according to Gateway Pundit, yesterday they were voting for Speaker of the House, and they were doing a voice vote. And Maxine Waters takes a nasty shot at Jim Jordan during the vote. Here's the video of it. Talk about a beautiful woman. Here is, and it's hard to hear, so put your hearing on because it's just out there. But listen to what she says.
Waters. Jeffries.
I vote for Jeffries because Jordan is an insurrectionist. An erectionist. Why do you say that, Mike? We'll get to it. Trust me. So the Twitter tears him up, or X tears him up. Jordan laughs when Representative Maxine Waters calls Jordan an insurrectionist. One House Republican says loudly, "Huh? What did the communists say?" That's right. You know where that comes from? You know where that "what did the communists say" comes from? I just should have queued this up, but I didn't. I don't have it. Google it. There's actually a video out there where she is in charge of a committee where they're looking into the oil companies, and she says, this communist is going to nationalize, regulate the oil industry. That's where they get it from. Another person said Jim Jordan smirks while Maxine Waters points at him, calling him an insurrectionist as she votes for Jeffries. Maxine Waters rises to vote for Jeffries, calling him a true patriot. Saying Jim Jordan's an insurrectionist. This person has a different groans from Republican side, with one member saying, "What did the communists say?" That's right. She's nothing but a commie. Back when I was in the Army, it was kill a commie for your mommy. Remember those days? Oh, I wish we could go back to simpler times when we knew who the bad guys were. It'd have been nice. Here's a story on Jim Jordan's vote. It says Jim Jordan's election denialism hurt him in his first speaker vote. Representative Ken Buck, Republican of Colorado, is refusing to support the Ohio. Here's anybody in Colorado? The Ohio Republican, because he won't say Joe Biden won the 2020 presidential election. I will say Joe Biden is sitting in the reins of power. I will not say he won. One of the 20 Republicans who voted against Representative Jim Jordan, the media goes out and finds the one guy out of the 20 in his bid for the bid for the House Speaker on Tuesday, says he did so because Jordan won't state President Biden legitimately won the 2020 election. Challenged Jordan to say that the election wasn't stolen during the party meetings last week. He said he raised the issue again during the one-on-one meeting with Jordan on Monday evening, but came away unsatisfied. Well, if you watch my mic at night from the other night, I played the video where God says he's unsatisfied with what's coming out of both parties. So I'd be more worried about that unsatisfied than I would the other unsatisfied. But if you don't know who Mr. Buck is, let's just, I got a video. let's just remember, go back in the Wayback Machine to the time when they were having, trying to impeach the president, trying to well, I don't remember which hearing this was. I don't want to say it was an impeachment hearing. Maybe it was another hearing. But here is Mr. Buck talking to Mr. Ray.
Director Ray, thank you. Thank you for your work with the FBI, and thank you for your history of work in law enforcement. You started out as an AUSA, and I'm getting this information from Wikipedia, the great font of knowledge in the digital age, and so I'm assuming that it's true, but you started out as an AUSA. You were nominated by Republican President Bush, and you were confirmed by a Republican Senate, if I am correct in that.
Yes, by unanimous voice vote.
And you were then nominated by Republican President Donald Trump to be the FBI director, and again confirmed by the Republican Senate for that position.
Yes, I think there were only 5 votes against me, and they were all from Democrats.
According to Wikipedia, you're still a registered Republican, and I hope you don't change your party affiliation after this hearing is over. But I want to thank you. I want to thank you for leading an agency, as you mentioned in your opening statement, for protecting law-abiding Americans from the evil that exists all around us. And frankly, I am not in favor of defunding the FBI, nor am I in favor of splitting up the FBI, nor am I in favor of using the Holman Rule for the FBI director. I would love to work with the FBI on how we can protect Americans. I agree with my colleague from California, and I don't often agree with folks from California, but I agree with my colleague from California.
But I have other questions. I'm sitting here with my father. I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father. Sounds like a shakedown, doesn't it, Director?
I'm not going to get into commenting on that.
You seem deeply uncurious about it, don't you? Almost suspiciously uncurious. Are you protecting the Bidens?
Absolutely not. The FBI
well, you
does
won't
not
answer the
have
question.
no
Hold on.
interest in
You won't answer the
protecting
question
anyone.
about whether or not that's a shakedown, and everybody knows why you won't answer it. Because to the millions of people who will see this, they know it is. And your inability to acknowledge that is deeply revealing about you. You preside over the FBI. It's the lowest level of trust in the FBI's history. People trusted the FBI more when J. Edgar Hoover was running the place than when you are. And the reason is because you don't give straight answers. You give answers that later a court deems aren't true. And then at the end of the day, you won't criticize an obvious shakedown when it's directly in front of us. And it appears as though you're whitewashing the conduct of corrupt people.
Respectfully, Congressman, in your home state of Florida, the number of people applying to come work for us and devote their lives working for us is over 100%.
We're deeply proud of them, and they deserve better than you.
So there is Mr. Buck and his love affair with anything deep state. And he wants to stand against Donald Trump. He's a Trump hater. He's a never Trumper. Now, I say insurrection, erection all the time. And the reason that I say that is because after January 6th, oh my God, they denounced it. It's an insurrection, erection. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I was in fear for my life. Whatever will I do? Yet here we have another protest in the halls of Congress. And it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay. But the reason I say insurrection, erection is because for some reason in the months following the January 6th protest of American people doing their First Amendment rights, they couldn't help themselves because they all had erections on their mind for some reason. And here is an example.
Election. What we expect at the end of this, Dermot, is for the 18 months of work to crystallize into the charges these politicians believe should be laid. And there are 3 of them: inciting or assisting in an insurrection, also defrauding the US government and obstructing.
They just had a bad habit of doing this. Multiple people in the media were doing this. There was others. I couldn't find a video for it, but there was others. Shifty Schiff did it. Chuck Schumer, I've got that one. Mitch McConnell, Mitt Romney, they all had erection problems when they were talking about the insurrection. That's why I say insurrection erection. Here's another.
You think Donald Trump was furious about Mark Meadows' book? Get ready. According to the committee, we have learned that among more than 6,000 pages of documents that Meadows voluntarily handed over to the committee are messages sent and received during the riot, texts, emails, calls, while the events of the erection, excuse me, after 40 years, I can't believe I did that on TV, insurrection was happening. Committee member Zolofton told us the records include.
So there you have it. That was CNN. The other one, first one was Sky News, and then the coup de grace, the numero uno, the best one yet, on the Senate floor. During as they were bringing articles of impeachment against Donald J. Trump, Chucky Schumer just couldn't help himself.
Make no mistake, there will be a trial, and when that trial ends, senators will have to decide if they believe Donald John Trump incited the insurrection against the United States.
Donald John Trump incited the erection.
Here this morning. Thank you so much for joining.
Doggone won't let me get out of here. Hate it when it does that. Donald John Trump incited the insurrection. How terrible could it be? I mean, it happened over and over again. I mean, there was probably 20 or 30 examples of it. Those were the ones I could find in a few minutes while I had time to set up my show. But there's plenty of others. They just can't help themselves. You know, I don't think that it's a conspiracy. I think that it was God giving us a little wink, giving the conspiracy theorists something to conspirator over. Here you go. Have fun with this one. That's what I think was happening. I think these deranged lunatics were doing a Freudian slip. Do I still have that one? I think I still have that one. Freudian slip. An unintentional error regarded as revealing subconscious feelings. Somebody in the chat over on Rumble said that the insurrection caused these deep staters to have erections as they talked about the election. And, you know, some people suffer from electoral dysfunction. Some people suffer from electoral dysfunction, and they have problems.
Do you suffer from electoral dysfunction? ED is a serious problem in Ontario after 11 years of a Liberal government. It particularly affects those with jobs, the unemployed, men over 50, men under 50, women, and young. Kathleen Wynne has a remedy for ED. It's called 4 More Years. Who knows? After 11 years in power, maybe now they'll finally get it right.
Another Liberal government could produce high blood pressure, higher taxes, increased fees and levies, a spiraling deficit, and out-of-control debt burden. The Liberals are not recommended for those who seek financial security, sound management, or prudent treatment of public expenditures. Other risks and dangers associated with Liberal governments include major scandals involving the Provincial Air Ambulance Service, the Ontario Lottery and Gaming Organization, the e-health service, power plants at Oakville and Mississauga, and out-of-control pay increases for senior executives at public institutions. Don't vote for Liberal government if you get upset at waste and mismanagement or if you expect members of the government to take responsibility for their actions. People who vote for Liberal governments must never ever mention Dalton McGuinty or expect Kathleen Wynne to take the blame for any of his actions, even though she served in senior roles in his government. You should not vote for Liberal government if you are looking for a job, starting a business, hiring new staff, planning to start a family, seeking to invest, oppose windmills, use pesticides on your lawn, smoking car with children, or insist on using electricity during daytime hours. Or if you are trying to save on your hydro bill.
That was from our good friends up north in Canada. Do you suffer from erectile dysfunction? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there are many in our Congress that suffer from it. They just can't get over it. They just can't get over it. They just can't figure it out. They just don't know. This guy, this Joe Biden got 81 million votes. Joe Biden. They just can't figure it out. 81 million votes, and they don't know. They just, they're shocked. How did he get more votes than Obama? Was it erectile dysfunction? I'm sorry.
If you would have told me 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that I would be in the middle of a political movement, I would have said, put down Hunter's crack pipe. Right now. Right now.
I can't afford the groceries. I can't afford your gas. It's bad inflation across the nation. 81 million votes my ass. Hey, 81 million votes my ass. You failed to build back better. You middle fingered the middle class.
They've pissed off an already pissed off woman.
81 million votes my ass.
The crime was committed in broad daylight.
121st day of publicly transitioning.
We're living on planet crazy.
Got a laptop full of China, hookers and blows and crack, and the diary's got Creepy Joe in the shower. 81 million votes my ass. Hey, 81 million votes my ass. While Kamala tosses word salads, they even cringe the Democrats. Waiting in the wings is a thing called Hillary. 81 million votes my ass. Hey, 81 million votes my ass.
And at first I chuckled. I said, oh my gosh, Hillary Clinton is actually talking about me? That's funny. And then I got to thinking, maybe that's not funny. Oh my gosh, help, help.
Hey!
And I just want you all to know I'm in perfect health. We've recently had our automobile serviced and the tires are good and the brakes are in good order and I am not suicidal.
My red and white and blue is broken. 81 million votes my ass. 81 Joe, don't make me laugh. 2,000 mules got busy, stuffing 45's ballots in the trash.
It is despicable what they did, and I will not let these bastards get away with it.
81 million votes my ass.
Our economy is strong as hell.
He had the swamp going after him, and he was still getting stuff done. And now we have stumbling, bumbling Joe. I miss the bull in the china shop. I miss the mean tweets. I miss Donald Trump. 81 million votes. My ass.
Who's going to win the American election? Give me a name.
Donald Trump.
Wow. Wow.
Somebody is going to run a 30-second sizzle reel showing Mr. Biden falling down.
Totally agree.
$81 million votes. So they say. Speaking of the potato in the White House, Mr. Joe, I owe it all to China. He's gotten $81 million from China. He's about to have a press conference. I mean, a statement to the American people. This is new. This hasn't happened yet. For immediate release, October 18, 2023. Statement from the press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, the first immigrant openly lesbian woman of color to be press secretary. She tells us all the time. On President Biden's Oval Office address tomorrow, President Biden will address the nation to discuss our response to Hamas terrorist attacks against Israel, Russia, ongoing brutal war in Ukraine. This speech will be delivered from the Oval Office at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today, ladies and gentlemen, today. Now, this will be a momentous occasion. This will be, I got to get that crack cocaine up his nose. So, there is a study out there that crack cocaine, not crack cocaine, regular cocaine, actually helps with dementia. He's always going like this. Anyways, I'm trying to get kicked off YouTube. So, this will be the first time that I'm pretty sure this will be the first time if he's actually in the Oval Office. That's an old reference to Bill Clinton days with Rush Limbaugh, if you know what I mean. OML. If he's actually in the Oval Office, if he's actually behind the Resolute desk, it will be the first time since he became the occupier of the office. It will be the first time. I have yet to see a picture of him there is some pictures of him, but the background ain't right. Something ain't right. Things are off. You have to, lots of questions. Will it be the Oval Office, or will it be the studio across the street in the executive building? Will we be able to tell? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. Again, I don't know. It takes faith to believe in the conspiracy theories, but you're entitled to your conspiracy theories. And these morons put enough information out there, enough doubt, enough confusion to create they create themselves. They write themselves. The jokes write themselves. The conspiracy theories write themselves. You don't even have to try. I mean, you really don't have to try. Speaking of jokes and conspiracy theories writing themselves, these people, Donald Trump said something. He truthed something yesterday. Maybe you hadn't heard of it, but some things happening. Not the United Auto Workers one. Let me find it here real quick. I'm switching up gears. I'm not going in the order that I had planned, which is typical for me. But Donald Trump said something. I went too far. Pointing out an event that happened yesterday, and I want to. Why can't I find it? Well, let me just switch. I can't find Donald Trump. Donald Trump was pointing out that, here it is right here. The regime sentenced Douglas Mackey to 7 months in jail for posting memes about Hillary. If anyone still thinks everything conservatives have been saying about the Marxists and their intentions is hyperbole, they're idiots and deserve to live under the Dems commie system with their boot on their neck. I mean, the other day we was talking about how they was wanting to cancel George Orwell because 1984 is becoming reality. It wasn't supposed to be a how-to plan. Here is PJ Media. I think it's PJ Media, PM Media, whoever it is, whoever these folks are reporting. Breaking: Twitter user Douglas Mackey sentenced to 7 months in prison after being found guilty of election interference, insurrection, for making memes disparaging Hillary Clinton. We used to have this thing. I know back in the day, before we got to our new awakened woke country, we used to have this thing called the Constitution. And the First Amendment said you had the right to protest. You had the right to freedom of speech. It specifically applied to religion and politics. But evidently, this guy's going to jail for 7 months for making memes. I mean, for real, on Twitter. You make memes, you go to jail. And the real problem that they're having is that the left can't make memes. The left's memes are not funny. You know, they make memes about Hillary Clinton. They make memes about Hillary Clinton saying you're going to the gulag, and then they punish you by putting you in the gulag. I mean, for real. What you in for? I made memes about Hillary Clinton in 2016. For real. Jailing the best meme artists in the world just makes jail sound more awesome. It would be funny. It would be funny if it wasn't so ridiculous. It would be funny if it wasn't so ridiculous. But I digress. It is ridiculous. It is very, very, very ridiculous. Oh, I forgot to mention, Joe Biden has made a new move. This didn't make it when we were talking about money. U.S. suspends some sanctions on Venezuela oil, gas, and gold sectors. You see, they're running out of strategic oil reserves. So they got to get oil from somewhere. So they're suspending sanctions on Venezuela so they'll sell more oil and bring the price down. Yeah. Anyways, speaking of bringing the price down, speaking of gold and oil, I don't know how that segue works, but do me a favor. Go out and buy my product because I need to make some money too. Seriously, though, this stuff has changed my life. It'll change your life too if you just give it a shot. If you suffer from the snap, the crack, the creaking, and the pop, and you know what I'm talking about. When I was younger, I abused myself, being in the military, working out, playing sports. And now that I'm 52 years old, I kind of regret some of that. The liquid biocell has changed my life because what it has is a special collagen HA, which stands for a hyaluronic acid, which I always say wrong, and my buddy always gives me a hard time about it. Love you, brother. That's okay because you guys understand I say things wrong. It's okay. I don't have to. It's sciencey. They got all the good stuff that's in here. It's pure. It's natural. It's safe. It's good for the environment. It's good for you. There's no harsh chemicals, no preservatives, no bunch of crap. As a matter of fact, this company is so open that when I send you the link, when you ask for it, you can go in and see everything that's in all of their products. They will not hide anything from you, which I love. But it uses this collagen HA matrix technology. It's one of a kind. It's multi-patent. It's got 7 patents. It's worldwide distribution. It has multiple, like 30 clinical studies that prove that it does what it says that it does. Now, it doesn't treat or cure any disease, but it surely helps me to feel better. Helps me with the normal aches and pains you get on a daily basis as you get older. It improves joint mobility and lubrication, supports cardiovascular health, improves skin hydration and firmness and tone. And how do I know that it does that? Because it says so right on the bottle right there. That's what it says. I know. There, you see? See, it says that. See? It does what it says that it does. Also, I'm very proud to talk about this product right here, the OVA product. This product right here, the OVA product, is changing ladies' lives and men's lives too, because their ladies' wives are changing. Mama ain't happy, nobody ain't happy, right? But what it does is it helps improve the symptoms of normal PMS and normal menopause. Those symptoms that you get on a monthly basis because you're a woman. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not right. But it is what it is. This helps to regulate your hormones in a more moderate level so you don't have the spikes here and the spikes there. And it makes you feel better. My wife says that it's made her feel like a new woman. It's given her focus, clarity of mind, more energy. It's taking care of the brain fog. It's taking care of the hot flashes. It just makes her feel better. That's what my wife says. My mother-in-law says the same thing. She says she cannot believe she hasn't been taking this product her whole life. And several other people sent us messages. Several other ladies. They don't send them to me. They send them to my wife, which I understand. I don't think Sidney Powell pleaded guilty. That's why they're having a trial, unless something just broke, which I don't know about. Because the trial, they're jury selecting today. So, anyways, So go out and try my product. And then I interrupted my commercial with talking politics. And I understand. Look, just go on. It's really easy to get your hands on. Just go over to the Patriot Mike Show fan page right here on Facebook. Just type Patriot Mike Show on Facebook. If you're over there on Rumble or on Twitter or on YouTube, just go over to Facebook, type Patriot Mike Show. While you're there, subscribe. Scroll down to see my wife's beautiful face when she's eating the chocolate sauce, makes your pants fall off. Another product we have called Trim. It'll help you. It uses collagen formula to help you lose those stubborn belly fat that's so hard to get rid of. It inhibits fat storage, improves muscle tone, and restores youthful skin. My wife has lost over 20 pounds on that product alone. Right there. Isn't she gorgeous? I mean, man, it's fantastic. And if you don't want to do that, you're like, I hate Facebook. That's why I'm watching you in other places. I don't want to go there. I understand that too. So I got a system. Just go over to send a text message to 660-620-2644. I'm not going to collect your information. That's actually my personal, one of my cell phones. You can't call it because I won't answer. It's just a text message. Or you can send me an email to patriotmikeshow@gmail.com. We'll send you a link. It'll save you a few bucks off your first purchase. 100% money back guarantee. No questions asked. Their customer service is really good. You got everything to gain and nothing to lose by trying these products. I mean, literally, they're changing people's lives on a daily basis. So I appreciate it. All right, moving on. Next story. So Joe Biden is over there in Israel, and he sits down with leaders of the Knesset and Netanyahu, and this is how the conversation goes. This is the leader of the so-called free world.
Years ago, I asked the Secretary of State when he and I were working in the Senate to write something for him, and said, he wrote a line that I think is appropriate. He said, it's not, we need not just, well, I won't go into it. I'll wait later. Taking too much time.
We'll go into it. We'll go into it later. He's on the world stage. Is he world stage ready? I don't know. He's too far gone. So here's a little bit more. Here's Joe Biden as he announces another chunk of cash for another terrorist organization.
Today, I'm also announcing $100 million in new U.S. funding for humanitarian assistance in both Gaza and the West Bank. This money will support more than 1 million displaced and conflict-affected Palestinians, including emergency needs in Gaza.
He's giving $100 million to Gaza. So we're funding Gaza and we're funding Israel. 10% for the big guy. 10% for the big guy. Here's another thought. Here's another thought. Just listen to this.
And it also requires the U.S. Congress to support that president. And without a Speaker of the House, we're not going to be able to give support to our allies and partners and friends who rely on the United States' clarity and support and vision. A Speaker is going to be critical to any appropriation, both in terms of the annual appropriations for the defense of the United States and what goes to our allies and partners, but of course, the supplemental that Taiwan is relying on, that Ukraine is relying on, and now we expect Israel will rely on, not only for the conflict in Gaza, but of course, should a second front open up, it will be even more critical for the United States to provide emergency appropriation for the missile defenses and other precision-guided munitions that no doubt Israel will need the United States to give them.
So I didn't mean to do what I just did there. Let me get back to, I just went over and checked that story about, let me pull that off the screen. Sorry about that. I went over and checked that story. It's according to the AP. Breaking news. AP is off the Drudge Report. Lawyer Sidney Powell pleaded guilty to reduced charges Thursday in an effort to overturn Donald Trump's loss of the 2020 election in Georgia, becoming the second defendant in the sprawling case to reach a deal with prosecutors. Powell, who was charged alongside Trump with 17 others with violating the state's anti-racketeering law, entered a plea just a day before jury selection was set to start in her trial. She pleaded guilty to 6 misdemeanors, accusing her of conspiring to intentionally interfere with the performance of elected duties, erection duties. As part of the deal, she will serve 6 years probation. She'll be fined $6,000 and will have to write an apology letter to Georgia and its residents. She also agreed to testify truthfully against her co-defendants at future trials. So there you have it, according to the AP. Now, when these things break, the story sometimes changes as it goes on. So I do not know the rest of the story here. By tomorrow, the next day, maybe I will. I don't know. So basically, they're saying we can't be given all this money because we don't have it. Or we can't give it because there's no Speaker of the House. Isn't it interesting how this happens? I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. Here's more of Joe over there in Israel.
Mr. Prime Minister, in the wake of Hamas's appalling terrorist assault, it was brutal, inhumane, almost beyond belief what they did. This cabinet came together and standing strong, standing united, and I want you to know you're not alone. You are not alone. As I emphasize,
You are not alone.
We continue to have Israel's back.
I am here with you.
Your people.
So there's Joe, stumbling through his words, looking at his notes, doesn't know what he's doing. Now, this is an interesting video. We're going to get into this just a little bit. This is causing a lot of the Patriot mythology types to Patriot there's a lot here. Let's just watch this on CNN.
Virtually every mass shooting, every circumstance where a large number of people have been victimized and lost, I've spoken with them. I learned a long time ago that you've all learned in your life. When someone's going through something that is beyond their comprehension, that they've ever thought they'd have to go through. If they see someone who they think understands that maybe they're through something not the same but similar, it gives them some sense of hope. And I always get criticized sometimes by my staff because when I go to these events, I stay for 3 to 4 hours and answer all their questions. But it matters. It matters a lot. And look, I'm talking, some of you have gone through a hell of a lot more than I've gone through, and a lot more than other people have gone through. And you understand. So it's just people are looking for just something to grab, something that gives them some sense of hope. And that's, if I can do a little bit of that, then it's, it's worth doing. Done for me. So.
It just seems like people need a little bit of hope, and if I can give them a little bit of hope, I've been through it. Some people have been through it more than me, but I've been through it too because I've been through it. We just gotta have something to grasp onto. So get off my lawn. I mean, he probably is medicated, or the medication's running out, one or the other. But that's not what the controversy wasn't. His mumbling, stumbling, bumbling his way through. That's a reference to something. Somebody used to say that. Stumbling, bumbling. Who was that? You're in good hands. Sources doing. That's not it. Okay. Here, there's more controversy that has to do with with that right there. And yeah, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get into the controversy here in a second. Let me find the post. Because some people noticed something that wasn't right. And that's this. This photo is not photoshopped. What's going on with his chin? What's going? Well, Lynn Wood can't be trusted either, so I wouldn't trust him. I wouldn't. Somebody says that Lynn Wood did say she can't be trusted. He can't be trusted neither. I don't know. I don't have an answer for all that. This person asked the question. He says, I generally want someone to explain to me why the president of the United States has dog testicles on his chin. I'm not trying to make fun of him. I'm generally curious. I don't know. I don't know. But here, let me tell you the truth. I can tell you exactly what this is. I know what this is. It's the same problem Nancy Pelosi has. We'll go back to it again. Notice the lack of wrinkles. This guy's had 6 gazillion Botox injections, and he probably got a Botox injection right there. So this part of his skin can't move because what Botox is botulism. What botulism does, the face max conspiracy theories are out. We'll get. I know, right? It's insane. We'll get to that one in a minute. I'm not on that one. I'm on the Botox because I don't think this is a conspiracy theory. I think this dude is getting the Botox. I really do believe the person in this picture is getting the Botox. 100%. No doubt in my mind. That's why there's no wrinkles. That's why they do. I'm trying to get it to pop up on the screen and it's not popping. There it goes. Come on. There it goes. This guy right here. At the Botox, right? It doesn't move. That's why his face doesn't move. That's why it looks like it's plastic, because it's just like Nancy Pelosi, just like John Kerry, who served in Vietnam. You get all them Botox shots and your face doesn't move, but you got to do it every so often. Or drink blood poison, maybe. Who knows? Anyways, so like I said, the conspiracy theory, it's the mask, whatever, maybe so, but the simplest answer is probably true. But then again, that person's getting Botox or something. Since I'm on YouTube, let's see if I can get kicked off. Here we go.
This is a story about the time I worked side by side with the Secret Service. And it has to do with this comment right here. Hillary, not even alive anymore. It's a body double. Okay, so 23 years ago, I became a full-time crash fire rescue firefighter at the 144th Fighter Wing in Fresno, California. So a couple years passed. As a firefighter, I went through some training and became an engineer, which is a driver operator on a crash truck on the Air Force. It's a P-19, ARF vehicle, Aircraft Rescue Firefighting. That's that big green truck at the airport. If you've ever been to the airport, you see the big green fire truck. That's what I drove. So one time, George Bush was flying into the Fresno airport. He was going to give a speech or so. I can't even remember why he was there at that point. I could give a shit less about politics. I didn't know anything about Democrat or Republican. I was just in the Air Force, and I was a firefighter, and I was serving my country. Anyway, when the Secret Service came in, they used our fire department classroom as their headquarters. They all came in, and they set up all their computers and did their whole thing, and that was their headquarters, basically, for operations. And because I was going to be on duty during the time that Air Force One landed at our airport, if it were to crash, I would be the driver on that crash truck that was responsible for saving the president's life. They brought us in one by one into the alarm room, which is where we get all the calls, and we, call out, tension in the station, tension on the net, blah, 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 bring, hit the bell, and we go out. So they brought us into that room one by one, and so I had to go in there, and I had to sit in a chair like I'm sitting here, Secret Service agent on the other side of me, and they have no sense of humor. They were very serious, and they would ask us a series of questions like, do you have any ill will towards the president? Do you have any thoughts of this and that? And they just ask you a bunch of questions to make sure that you're going to be safe to, one, stay at your own fire department with the Secret Service, and two, if something happens to the president, are you actually going to do what you need to do to save their life? And at the time, I had no idea what George Bush was responsible for. So I was like, yeah, I'm good. I don't have any issue. I'm doing my job. And so we got through all of that. And they had been there for a couple days, staging everything. They had snipers across the street on the roofs of buildings. And they had guys everywhere with curlicue things and all kinds of firearms that I had never even seen in my life. And plane lands. And they have two C-5s. It was 2 or 3 C-5s. The C-5 is the largest Air Force aircraft in the Air Force fleet. And it's the largest military aircraft in the world. I think the Russians have one. It's called the Kosmonov or something like that. It's like 2 feet longer on the wingspan. It's basically the same airplane. So, but these large body aircrafts, the C-5, they can carry school buses or tanks or semi trucks. They're huge. When you go inside, it looks like the inside of a warehouse. Okay, that's what they bring all of the president's entourage to the airport that they're flying to.
This is the part that I want to talk about. I'm playing. This part right here.
As the president drives through town to their destination to give the speech or whatever, they will have these Suburbans go in different directions. No, none of this is classified. They didn't tell me that this was secret, that I couldn't say anything about that. There was no national security letter signed or anything, so I'm not divulging classified information. Anyway, they told me that they have a body double, and each one of those looks exactly like the president, and they'll take different routes, and that will throw off, somebody who is trying to harm the president. So that was 20 years ago when I learned that there are body doubles, and there are people that look exactly like the president. Now, that still goes on. Everybody in the world has several people somewhere in the world that looks just like them. So that's how that works. I just thought that I would explain that to you since I have some personal experience seeing that firsthand, and explain that to some of you folks out there that don't, you don't have that type of mind, that type of strategic mind to process that information. Or you think that it's just something that people look up on the internet and they just repeat what other people are hearing. So I've been there, done that, seen it in person, and I'm explaining that to you now so you know. People have body doubles.
Presidents have body doubles. Multiples of them. Just saying. I don't know. I'm just, you develop your own conspiracy theory out of that. I'm putting the information out there. You decide. Ginger Thomas says, I'm not sticking needles in my face. Wrinkles are fine. Let me tell you something, Ginger. You don't have to. You absolutely don't have to stick needles in your face, because there's a product that my wife uses all the time that we sell. If I send you the same link for the BioCell, you can buy this product. It's called the cleanser and serum. It's made with collagen. It made my wife go from this, she's actually 5 or 6 years younger in this picture than she is in this picture. I mean, you can tell by the gray hair. That's what that serum does for you. It gets rid of the blemishes and the wrinkles and the crow feet and the bags under your eyes and all that good stuff. And if you just go over to the Patriot Mike Show fan page and comment that you want to know more, or send me the text message, whatever. I'll show you how to get a hold of that product. Another shameless plug, just because you brought it up. That's why. It's your fault. So everybody blame, he's doing a commercial again. Blame Ginger. It's her fault. So anyways, moving on. Here's another one that I found interesting in regards to Joe Biden. He also said something. I mean, the guy is not there. The guy's having issues big time. Here we go.
Well, Potato Head is over in Israel this morning. Before I go any further, I mean no disrespect to the potatoes. I have great respect and great admiration for all potatoes. But this potato-headed SOB decides to go to Israel while their hair is literally on fire, as if they needed to worry about protecting the perceived president of the United States. But I want you to watch this video that I saw on Fox News this morning. We'll come back and talk about it.
Often said, I remember the first time that I was in Israel with Golda Meir. She was just before the 6 Day War. And she was telling me how terrible everything was, which it was. She kept flipping the maps up and down behind her, and all of a sudden she looked at me and she said, "Would you like a photograph?" And I thought, that's unusual. And because she just got up and walked out that door outside her office. And we're standing there having a photograph taken like you and I are standing looking at this. And she, without looking at me, she turned, she like this, she said, "You look worried, Senator." I said, "I am." She said, "Don't worry, we Jews have a secret weapon in our fight. We have no place else to go."
Now let's break that down. You may have to go back and rewatch it. First of all, I want to apologize for the lack of good captions. TikTok does not have a potato language caption selection, so I apologize for that. But he says he was meeting with Golda Meir right before the 6 Day War. Well, the 6 Day War was in June of 1967. Oddly enough, Golda Meir left public office in 1966 due to health concerns. So she wasn't even in office during the 6 Day War. He says she called him senator. He wasn't elected senator and sworn in until January of 1973. So the question is this: is Joe Biden's mind so far gone that he believes he had this meeting with Golda Meir between 66 and 69, when she was out of all public office, during the 6 Day War before he was ever sworn in? Does he believe that? Or has he made shit up for so long that it just rolls off so easily? And the next thing we have to look at is, when you look at the story, Israel is getting attacked by a terrorist organization. The world, in their dumbassery, is completely against Israel. And he's telling a story supposedly about a picture that he took 50, 60 years ago. If you don't think we're in trouble, you're not thinking.
My answer is all of the above. He can't remember, and see, he's told variations of this story so many times over the years it's been a lie. He can't remember that it's a lie. So I think it is that he has told it so many times that it just rolls off, and that he cannot remember that it's a lie because he's told us so many times and he has dementia. That's what I think. Or it's all an act. I don't know. It's a mask. They're all dead in Gitmo. How do you know? How do you know? I mean, I suppose that's a possibility. I'm not really buying it, but I suppose it's a possibility. Of course, here's a couple of TikTok videos I found interesting. Here's a couple of TikTok videos. We're just going to play them here real quick.
Yesterday, press people came to Gaza Strip, to our place, and one of them asked me if I'm happy to be in a war. And I was laughing, and I told her that she needs to change the question a little bit. Of course, I'm not happy to be in a war. I have my own life. I have my family, my friends. I like to travel the world. I like to play footy volley on the beach, and I just want you to take me back, But I do happy to stand by my country and to save life and to be a combat and to be with Israel and to stop this terrorism that we had here in Israel from Hamas. So yes, I'm happy to stand by my country and to protect my country and my people and my family. But of course, I'm not happy to wear this for like already a week and a half and to be afraid sometimes and to hear bombs all the time. And who like war? Like, of course, no.
So there's an Israeli fighter, female, being asked if she likes going to war, and she's like, no, but I'm going to do what I got to do.
There
Here's
is
another
something
one.
I just cannot understand. For a whole week, people debated if Hamas beheaded Israeli babies or just peacefully burned them. Yet, it took you exactly 1 minute to spread the lie that Israel bombed a hospital in Gaza, even though we have all the evidence that it was a misfire rocket from the Islamic Jihad. You still blame Israel.
So you can see the rockets. This is the left red stamp fired over the hospital, which is the right, and you can see the blast. So that is proof of the fact that it came from the Gaza Strip.
And tell me, did you hear someone speak about the fact that Hamas threw 4 rockets on a hospital in Ashkelon, Israel? Interesting. Not a single word about it. Last thing I would love to ask you, how would your country react if someone brutally killed 1,400 people, innocent people that did nothing? How would they react in a proportional response? I would love
Our
to know.
country?
I understand this war is not about this land. They want us all dead. It doesn't matter if you're a Jew, Druze, Muslim, Christian. If you live in Israel, they want you dead. You gotta understand that we are fighting for our existence. They only show you what served their propaganda. You gotta stand with Israel. You gotta stand with humanity.
In our country, what would we do if someone killed 14, say down there on the Mexican border, someone killed 1,400 people, slaughtered them? Well, we'd give them money. That's what we would do. You know, $1 billion here and $1 billion there. Pretty soon we talk about, I mean, what else would we do? Isn't that how you solve all the problems? Just throw a bunch of money at it. 100 million for Hamas, 100 billion for Israel and Ukraine. Just throw some money at it. That's how you solve it. I mean, what a dumb question. Of course, that's what we would do. Is there anything else? I don't think there's anything else. Joe Biden, you know, one of these chins is not like the other. Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to stoke the fires. I'm just trying to stoke the fires. That's all that was about. I'm sorry about that one. Lebanon's Hezbollah denounces Gaza hospital strike and protests in Beirut. So Hezbollah is denouncing Hamas blowing up their own hospital, or what? I was asking for a friend because I don't really know. I don't really know. Here's daylight hours, 24 hours. Just like I said, this like I said about the Sidney Powell thing. I don't have all the details, but I bet you in the next day or so we'll have more. Daylight. Let me digress on that just a little before we get into this. General Flynn pled guilty. Do you all remember? General Flynn pled guilty because the government prosecutor came to him and said, if you don't take the deal, we will go after your son. We will prosecute him. We will destroy his business and his life. That's the reason General Flynn pled guilty. Just remember that. And you know who got him off? Who was fighting to get him? Who got the evidence of that information to come out? Who got that through disclosure? You know who did that? That was Sidney Powell. So, anyways, moving on. Daylight, 24 hours later, the Al Allah hospital in Gaza still stands. Local footage shows the building's intact. There were no rescue workers pulling body out of rubble. There were no bodies. There was no rubble. A tragedy happened. Innocents died. But it wasn't as reported yesterday. It was a parking garage, a parking lot. The hospital is still there. Yeah. Maybe, just maybe, this person says, So one of those video clips we saw them stacking bodies, including a bunch of deceased children lined up. Let me show you something. Look around. Look around. What do you see? Where is Israel? Where is Gaza? What do you see? I see concrete. Not much green grass. Go back and look at those videos of those people blown up in the dark. And there's lots and lots of green grass. I noticed that. I'm just saying. George Santos for Speaker of the House. Well, we'd have a flamboyant Speaker of the House then. I just think all y'all need to get along. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that one. George Santos, that would be fun. I'd be doing impersonations of that one all the time. That would be fantastic. So Israel put this out. This is the foreign minister from the Likud with a bunch of names there. And it says, at the end of this war, not only will Hamas no longer be in Gaza, the territory of Gaza will also decrease. So, yeah, that's pretty scary. We got our ships over there. We got the president's about to make a speech. Tonight to address the American people. You know, you got to think about, let's put our way back machines on. When do presidents address American people from the Oval Office in prime time? When they're about to do some crazy stuff. I'm just saying, when they're about to shut down the country for 2 days to stop the spread. When they're about to blow up some terrorist in Iraq with drones. When they're about to invade Libya, or when Benghazi happens, or when we're about to send soldiers to fight the war on terrorism in Afghanistan. That's when. This is the first time this president has used the Oval Office to make a speech during prime time, my fellow Americans and such. With that being said, there's this breaking news. The Egyptian president al-Sisi states that evicting the Gazians out of Gaza, so now they're not Palestinians, they're Gazians, into Sinai amounts to a declaration of war against Egypt. Breaking news. We will consider any attempt to displace Palestinians from the West Bank as a declaration of war. Jordan Foreign Ministry. Are we about to see an escalation in this war? What is the president going to say? I have no idea. He might just get up there and go, I want to, the Hamas is bad people and you know the deal. You know, Corn Pop was a bad dude. I don't know what he's going to say. I have no idea. I mean, who really knows?
Today we have the strongest economy in the world, the lowest inflation rate among the major economies, 13.5 million new jobs. You ever get a chance to look at what your kids are looking at online?
I don't know what he's going to say. Who knows? With this guy, anything. Depends on how much his son brings him before the show starts. I don't know. I don't have any idea. But I know it's going to be interesting. Breaking news, Jordan backs plan to empower interim Speaker Patrick McHenry, who is a total deep stater. So it looks like Patrick Henry will be Speaker of the House or something. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? God is in control of all this, by the way. And there's the chaos in our government will continue to grow because God is dissatisfied with what's coming out of both parties, and it's going to get ugly, 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 ugly. I don't have the answers. We can all sit here and bounce our favorite conspiracy theories around about what tomorrow will bring. I, for one, will not, but I will trust God. Somebody was commenting over there in Rumble. Oh, does God allow all the children to die? No, God allows you to have free will. You do your own stupid stuff with your free will. Man does his own stupid stuff with his free will. Man serves God other than the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and does evil by their own free will. And by his grace, he doesn't smite you into dust. He gives you an opportunity to repent and turn back to him. Because in reality, as a just God, he should just smite you into dust. Because you are guilty. You are deserving of death. It's by grace that God allows man to make decisions to be immoral and evil and corrupt and do detestable things. I do know this. I believe this firmly in all my heart. Those little babies, whether their parents were Muslims or Jews or Christians or Buddhists or atheists or secular humanists, it doesn't matter. Those little babies are up with him, surrounding the throne of God in heaven. I think he makes a way for the innocent who haven't had a chance to even understand what it is to rebel against God. The rest of us, we better repent. We better get on our knees. We better turn back to God, because our days on this planet are short and eternity is an awfully long time. And you are an eternal creature. You will live forever. The question is, where and how? Could get kind of warm. You guys have a great day. Patriot Mike is